Imagine waking up in the prehistoric world. No house. No locked door. No hospital. No flashlight. No phone to call for help. Just a cold cave, a wooden spear, an empty stomach, and a world full of animals that could kill you in seconds. You step outside. To your left, a saber-toothed cat is watching you. To your right, a giant bear is sniffing the air. In front of you, a pack of wolves moves quietly through the mist. And suddenly, one thought appears in your tiny prehistoric brain. Why was I born on the hardest difficulty setting? For modern humans, nature can look beautiful. Mountains, forests, rivers, sunsets. But for prehistoric humans, beauty always came with a warning. Something nearby might be trying to eat you. And here is the strange part. Humans were not built like predators. We had no claws, no fangs, no thick armor. We were not the fastest runners. We were not the strongest animals. Our skin was soft. Our bones could break. Our bodies looked fragile compared to almost everything around us. A saber-toothed cat had killing teeth. A bear had crushing strength. A wolf pack had speed and teamwork. And humans had a stick. At first, that does not sound very impressive. But that stick, combined with fire, memory, teamwork, and imagination, changed everything. Because humans did not survive by becoming stronger than monsters. They survived by becoming smarter than monsters. The first rule of prehistoric survival was simple. Do not fight fair. A lone human standing face to face with a giant predator was not a hero. He was lunch. So prehistoric humans learned to avoid danger before it got too close. They watched the ground. They listened to the forest. They smelled the air. They studied every strange movement around them. A broken branch could be a warning. A sudden silence among birds could mean a predator was nearby. A fresh footprint near the river could mean something dangerous had passed through moments earlier. To us, the forest may look like trees. To prehistoric humans, the forest was a giant warning system. Every track, every sound, every smell, and every shadow carried information. And in that world, information was not just useful. Information was survival. But one human alone was still weak. That is why the group became one of the first great weapons. One scared caveman with a spear was not very threatening. But 10 humans with spears, stones, burning branches, loud voices, and a plan? That was different. Predators are dangerous. But predators are not stupid. A predator does not want to get injured. In the wild, even a small wound can become a death sentence. A wounded predator may not be able to hunt. If it cannot hunt, it cannot eat. And if it cannot eat, it dies. So when a predator saw a noisy group of humans shouting, throwing rocks, waving fire, and pointing sharp spears, it had to make a decision. Is this meal worth the risk? Many times, the answer was no. That was one of humanity's greatest tricks. Humans did not need to look stronger than a predator. They only needed to look too dangerous, too noisy, and too annoying to attack. In other words, humans turned themselves from easy prey into difficult prey. And difficult prey often lives longer. Then came fire. Before fire, the night belonged to animals with better eyes, better noses, and sharper teeth. Darkness was not just darkness. Darkness was where death could hide. A pair of glowing eyes outside the cave. A low growl behind the trees. A sound in the grass that suddenly stopped. For prehistoric humans, nighttime was terrifying. But fire changed the rules. A small fire in front of a cave did more than create light. It created a boundary. Inside the circle of fire, humans could see. They could stay warm. They could cook food. They could keep insects away. And most importantly, they could make many predators hesitate. Fire was not magic. It did not make humans invincible. But it made the darkness less powerful. Imagine our little prehistoric human sitting beside the flames. His eyes are still wide with fear. His spear is still in his hand. Outside the cave, wolves are howling. Something large moves in the distance. He is not completely safe. But he is no longer helpless. Fire gave humans a place to gather. A place to sleep. A place to tell stories. A place to warn each other about danger. And those stories mattered more than we might think. Because humans could do something very special. They could share fear. One person sees a predator near the river. He returns and warns the group. Another person remembers that the same animal appeared near sunset. An older hunter remembers that this season brings more predators down from the mountains. Slowly, separate memories become shared knowledge. Shared knowledge becomes strategy. And strategy becomes survival. A single human could die. But the lesson did not have to die with him. The group could remember. The group could change. The group could teach the children. A child did not need to be attacked by a predator to learn that predators were dangerous. He only needed to hear the story. Maybe the first stories ever told were not fairy tales. Maybe they were warnings. Do not go near the river at night. Do not sleep beside the open plain. Do not touch the strange tracks near the cave. Do not follow a wounded animal alone. In a world without books, stories were survival technology. Then there was the spear. A spear may look simple, but it solved a deadly problem. Distance. If a predator gets close enough to touch you, you are already in trouble. Claws, teeth, and weight all work at close range. Humans needed a way to hurt danger before danger could reach them. The spear extended the human arm. A sharpened branch became a weapon. A stone tip made it sharper. And a group of spears became a wall. One human with a spear was still vulnerable. But a group of humans holding spears together could make even a large animal think twice. The spear was not just a weapon for fighting. It was a tool for planning. Humans could surround prey. They could block escape routes. They could drive animals toward cliffs, mud, traps, or narrow spaces. They could attack from a distance. They could work together. This was not about raw power. It was about using the landscape. It was about patience. It was about thinking before moving. A predator reacts to the moment. A human can imagine what might happen next. That ability changed everything. A wolf can chase. A bear can crush. A big cat can ambush. But a human can ask, what if we wait here? What if we use fire? What if we throw stones from above? What if we come back with more people? That question, what if, may be one of the most powerful tools in human history. But prehistoric life was not only a battle against predators. The real enemy was bigger than that. Cold could kill. Hunger could kill. Infection could kill. A broken bone could kill. A bad winter could kill an entire group. A flooded river could destroy a camp. A failed hunt could leave children starving. So survival was never just humans versus monsters. It was humans versus the entire world. Weather, darkness, disease, hunger, accidents, and yes, animals with teeth. That pressure forced humans to become better problem solvers. They learned to use animal skins for warmth. They learned where water was safer. They learned where predators hunted. They learned how to move with the seasons. They learned how to turn stone, wood, bone, and fire into survival tools. And each small improvement mattered. A sharper stone, a better spear, a warmer shelter, a safer sleeping place, a warning told at the right time. None of these things looked dramatic on their own. But together, they gave humans an advantage. Not the advantage of strength. The advantage of adaptation. Now look again at the scene. A tiny prehistoric human stands between a saber-toothed cat, a giant bear, and a pack of wolves. At first glance, he has no chance. But this is not really a battle between one small human and three giant predators. It is a battle between instinct and imagination. The predator has teeth. The human has memory. The predator has claws. The human has tools. The predator can attack. The human can plan. The predator can kill one person. But humans can return as a group. That was the terrifying power of our species. One human was weak. But human knowledge could grow. Every mistake became a lesson. Every danger became a warning. Every survival story became a guide for the next generation. Over thousands of years, those lessons became culture. Culture created better tools. Better tools created better survival. Better survival created more humans. And eventually, the fragile little ape with no claws and no fangs became the most dangerous animal on Earth. But there is one final twist. The monsters did not just threaten humans. In a strange way, they helped shape us. Fear made humans pay attention. Predators made humans cooperate. Cold made humans build better shelter. Hunger made humans improve their tools. Darkness made fire valuable. Danger trained the human brain to keep asking questions. Where is it safe? What went wrong last time? How can we survive tomorrow? The prehistoric world was brutal, but it trained humans to think. It trained humans to remember. It trained humans to work together. So how did prehistoric humans survive among giants? Not by being stronger than the saber-toothed cat. Not by being faster than the wolves. Not by being tougher than the bear. They survived because they learned to cooperate. They learned to observe. They learned to use fire. They learned to build tools. They learned to tell stories. They learned from fear instead of being destroyed by it. And maybe that is the real beginning of humanity. Not the moment we stopped being afraid, but the moment we used fear to become smarter. Because in the prehistoric world, courage did not mean having no fear. Courage meant shaking with fear, holding the spear anyway, standing close to the fire, calling your group, and surviving one more day.